My girlfriend left her laptop open with a document titled, Our Future 5-Year Plan, detailing how she'd trick me into an accidental pregnancy, move in, and divorce me for alimony. I forwarded it to my lawyer, and when she found out, her secret scheme became the evidence that got her restrained from my life forever. I've always believed you can tell a lot about a person by the way they treat the things that aren't meant to be seen. How they write notes to themselves. How they speak when they think no one is listening. How they plan their future when they assume you'll be part of it. I just never expected my future to be written out like a corporate strategy memo. It was a Thursday evening. I came home from work an hour early because our servers crashed and upper management decided to send everyone home while IT figured it out. Emily wasn't home yet. Her jacket wasn't on the chair. Her shoes weren't by the door. The place was quiet. Too quiet for someone who loved background noise the way she did. Her laptop sat open on the dining table. Not locked. Not on sleep mode. Just open. Normally I'd ignore it. I'm not someone who snoops. But the screen wasn't showing her usual Pinterest boards or psychology articles. It was a Word document titled, Our Future 5-Year Plan, Final Draft. The phrase final draft bothered me immediately. Not ideas, not brainstorm, not goals, final. Written like something already decided. I stood there for a full minute, just staring at the cursor blinking in the corner of the title bar. A little voice in my head said, Walk away. This isn't your business. A louder voice said, If she's planning your life, you should probably know how. So I clicked, and everything in my body went cold. Year 1, the softening phase. It started normal, sweet even. Become closer. Build trust. Encourage him to rely on me emotionally. Subtly adjust his spending habits. Spend more nights at his place than mine. Then a bullet point. Identify weak points. Family, hobbies, work patterns. Identify weak points. Like she was preparing for a negotiation. Or a takeover. I scrolled. Year 2, establishing dependence. This section hit me like a truck. Accidental pregnancy mid-year. He will propose. Likely due to guilt plus responsibility. Move into his house by end of year. Begin shifting chores and emotional labor gradually to him. There was an entire subsection titled, Managing Narrative to Family. Under it, present myself as nurturing. Highlight his flaws subtly to create lower expectations. Become essential to his daily routine. I sat down because my knees suddenly felt weak. We'd only been dating 11 months. And she already had this. Year 3, securing financial and legal ties. This part was written coldly, almost clinically. Marriage equals shared assets. Encourage joint accounts for convenience. Ensure I am beneficiary on insurance. Reduce work hours, start part-time. Frame it as focusing on future family. Then, he won't question it. He loves stability. Reading that made me feel like a lab specimen. Predictable. Manipulable. And the worst part? She wasn't entirely wrong. Year 4 to 5, exit strategy. I thought I was numb by then. I wasn't. This section wasn't a plan for our life. It was a plan for my destruction. Year 4. Begin documenting his concerning behaviors. Examples: being tired after work, being distant after arguments, forgetting minor dates. Start individual therapy to frame narrative. And then Year 5. File for divorce. Request spousal support. Position myself as emotionally neglected. Ensure primary custody, if children. Portray him as career-obsessed. Rebrand as independent woman overcoming difficult marriage. Dating apps after 6 months to appear stable. And at the bottom, make sure he never sees this. He overthinks. I didn't overthink. I didn't think at all. Something else took over, something calm. Cold, steady. I took screenshots. All of them. Every page. Every line. I saved them in 3 different cloud folders. One on my external drive. One in an encrypted email to myself. Then I forwarded the entire document to my lawyer with one line. We need to talk. When she came home, she walked through the door smiling, humming to herself, holding takeout bags from our favorite Thai place. She kissed me. She told me she missed me. She asked how my day was. I looked at her, really looked, at the person who had written out a 5-year roadmap that turned me into an investment to be cashed out. I didn't show anything. Not suspicion. Not anger. Not sadness. I simply said, let's eat. Because people like her don't confront well. They manipulate. They spin. They escalate. And I needed to be smarter than her plan. I needed to disappear quietly inside my own home while she still believed she was winning. For the next week, I lived beside a woman who thought she was executing a flawless, invisible plan. It was unsettling, like watching someone rehearse a role they didn't know you'd already read the script for. Emily became sweeter, more affectionate, more attentive. She made breakfast twice, something she'd never done in nearly a year of dating. Left little sticky notes on my mirror. Texts during the day with things like, "Thinking of you, Red Heart. We'd make such a strong team. I love where we're headed." If I hadn't read her plan, I might have interpreted it as love. Instead, it felt like watching a spider build a web around something it thinks is asleep. It started subtly. One night while we were watching TV, she casually said, "You know, moving in would save us so much time and money." I shrugged. Maybe someday. A flicker of irritation flashed across her face before resetting into a smile. Someday soon, right? I gave her nothing. Neutral expression. No commitment. Don't know yet. She hid her annoyance, but I saw the micro-expression, the tight jaw, the forced laugh. She thought I was falling behind schedule. 2 days later, she tried again. Emily stood by the door, adjusting her coat, and said lightly, "Hey, can I get a key? It's just inconvenient waiting sometimes." I looked at her calmly. "You've never had to wait more than 5 minutes." She blinked, surprised I didn't fold. "True, but it's just practical." "Let's think about it," I repeated. Her eyes hardened, a look I'd never noticed before I uncovered her plan. Something calculating, assessing, evaluating the next step in the script. 3 days after that, she struck again, sitting beside me while I fixed a small engine part on my workbench, a hobby she'd never cared about. "You know," she said, "this would all be easier if you cut down on your side projects. We barely have enough evenings together as it is." "That's not true," I said without emotion. She blinked. She wasn't expecting pushback. "Not from me. I'm just saying, priorities change when two people become serious." I nodded. "True. And we're not rushing anything." The annoyance slipped again. For half a second. Then, covered. She squeezed my arm and said through a thin smile, "Of course not. I just want what's best for us." I almost laughed at the irony. I'd read what she thought was best for us. It ended with a divorce settlement. The next mistake was hers. And it was big. She left her phone charging on my couch while she took a shower. Like I said before, I don't snoop. But when the screen lit up with 20 consecutive messages, I instinctively glanced. Group chat name. Ladies' room wineglass fire. 3 names I recognized, her friends. Women who treated drama like oxygen. Then I saw the preview of a message from Emily. "He's resisting. Need to accelerate." Thinking of saying I'm late. My blood ran cold. I didn't open it. Didn't scroll. Didn't touch her phone. But I'd seen enough. Enough to confirm everything. Enough to see she was preparing the accidental pregnancy phase ahead of schedule. Probably because I wasn't cooperating with the script. I took a photo of her locked screen, time-stamped. Message preview visible. I emailed it to myself and my lawyer. Then I sat back down on the couch, waiting for her to come out, my heart pounding slowly, steadily. That night, over dinner, she changed tactics. She sat across from me, biting her lip like she was nervous, playing with her necklace. Another manipulation cue I'd only recognized after reading her plan. "I'm late," she said suddenly. She looked at me expectantly, waiting for me to panic. I looked up from my plate and said calmly, "Are you?" She paused, confused by my lack of reaction. "Yes, I'm pretty sure. Did you take a test?" "No, but let's get one. Right now." Her mask slipped. "What?" "No, it's too early." "It's not. We can go now." She panicked harder. "Are you accusing me of lying?" "No," I said, still calm. "I'm suggesting we get clarity." She stared at me for a long moment, unsettled. Then she said, "Forget it. I'm probably fine." Her tone was sharp, defensive. She'd expected fear, submission, a proposal eventually. Instead, she got logic. And logic was the one thing her plan couldn't survive. The real break happened 3 days later. She came over with her laptop, claiming she wanted to show me apartment listings for when we move in together. She placed it on the table, opened the lid, and then froze, because she'd forgotten the last open tab in her browser. The 5-year plan, still sitting in her recent documents. I watched the color drain from her face. She wasn't stupid. She knew exactly what that meant. "Did you open this?" I didn't answer. I didn't need to. Her breathing changed. Fast, shallow, panicked. This is This isn't what you think. I stood up slowly, walked to my office, opened my laptop, and clicked on the email thread titled, Forwarded, Our Future, 5-Year Plan, Final Draft. She followed me, footsteps unsteady. She saw the attorney's reply, saw the legal formatting, saw the forwarding history, saw her entire plan attached as evidence. She slapped a hand over her mouth and let out a whisper. No, no, no. What did you do? I turned to her. Still calm, still quiet. I protected myself. Update 1. At the moment Emily realized her plan had been forwarded to an attorney, something inside her snapped. Not loudly, not dramatically at first. It was quiet, the kind of quiet that feels like the air before a storm. She stared at my laptop screen as if the email thread might magically erase itself. Her eyes darted across the text, the attachments, the timestamps. Then she whispered, You sent this to a lawyer? Yes. Her face twisted. Anger, disbelief, humiliation, fear, all fighting for dominance. Why would you do that? Why would you betray me like that? I almost laughed. Betray her? You wrote a 5-year plan detailing how you'd trap me, drain me, divorce me, and take everything. It wasn't, it's not what you think. It's exactly what I think. Her voice pitched up, shaky. It was a fantasy exercise, a writing prompt. I wasn't going to do it. I looked her dead in the eyes. You titled it Final Draft. Her lips parted, but nothing came out. And you coordinated with your friends. I saw your messages. Her pupils shrank. You told them you'd accelerate the plan. You wrote you'd tell me you were late. She stepped back like I'd struck her. You went through my phone. I saw the notifications. I didn't need to open anything. It was right there. For a moment, she just stood there trembling, her hands forming fists and loosening over and over again. Then the storm finally broke. She shoved a pile of books off my desk. You ruined everything. I stayed seated, calm, still, because reacting would pour gasoline on an already open flame. She swept her arm across my shelves next, photos, small tools, notebooks falling to the floor. I spent months trying to plan our life. I was doing this for us. You were supposed to appreciate it. Planning our life? I repeated. Or planning my financial destruction? She stopped mid-rant, chest heaving. You don't get it. You don't understand how hard it is for women. We need security. Men leave, cheat, bail. I wasn't going to get blindsided like my mom did. I made a plan so I'd never end up screwed over. You made a plan to screw me over. She flinched. You weren't supposed to find it. That's the point. She didn't hear how insane that sounded. Her voice broke into tears 1 second and rage the next, swinging between. You betrayed me. I loved you. How could you spy on me? You forced me into planning like this. She was spiraling. So I did the one thing that terrifies manipulative people the most. I didn't engage emotionally. I let her scream, let her exhaust herself. And when she grabbed her bag like she was going to storm out, she suddenly threw it across the room instead, missing my head by inches. That was enough. I pulled out my phone. Her voice jumped an octave. What are you doing? Don't you dare. I dialed. 911. What's your emergency? Emily froze, like an animal realizing it misjudged the size of its prey. She whispered, You're calling the police? On me? Yes. For what? I didn't hit you. I didn't do anything. You broke things. You threw something at me. You're screaming. You're unstable. And I want you out of my home. She went dead silent. Then she hissed, You'll regret this. But she didn't wait to test the threat. She bolted, practically ran out my front door, leaving her purse, her water bottle, even her shoes behind. The officers arrived 20 minutes later, calm but thorough. I showed them the damage, showed them the emails, showed them the printed document she wrote. One officer read part of it and exhaled slowly. I've seen messed up things. This is a lot. I filed an incident report. Not charges yet, just documentation. My lawyer called back an hour later. This is enough to file for a temporary restraining order. And trust me, you want to do that before she tries to flip the script. Flip the script. Meaning, play the victim. Lie first. Control the narrative. He was right. Because that night, 1:17 a.m., she began. Texts, calls, voicemails, paragraphs of alternating threats and apologies. You'll ruin my life. You're heartless. I only planned it because I love you. I hate you. You forced me into this. I need to see you. We can fix it. You'll regret this. Then the final one. I will not let you ruin 5 years of my life. 5 years. Her wording. Her timeline. The same one she'd written. The same one she now realized was collapsing. The same one that was about to destroy her far more thoroughly than she ever planned to destroy me. I screenshotted every message, sent them to my lawyer, and went to sleep for the first time in months with the door locked, the evidence secure, and the knowledge that the next step wasn't emotional. It was legal. Final update, by the time her emails started arriving, I was already prepared. The first message was short. I know you saw it. Please, don't ruin me over this. I didn't reply. Not yet. My lawyer had already drafted the restraining order, citing the document as evidence of premeditated fraud and harassment. We included the timeline of her plans, from the accidental pregnancy scheme to the intended alimony claims, all precisely dated from the laptop's metadata. When the papers were served, she called my phone repeatedly. I didn't answer. She showed up at my door once, hands shaking, trying to argue her case. Police were there in less than 15 minutes, calm but firm. She was escorted off my property, warned that further attempts would be met with legal consequences. For the first time in months, the apartment felt mine again. No threats, no secret schemes, no hidden plans designed to manipulate my life. Just quiet. Friends and family reached out afterward, some asking if I felt vindictive. I didn't. Not really. I felt relief. Relief that I had protected myself. Relief that the years of careful planning, documenting everything, forwarding the document to my lawyer, coordinating with law enforcement, had paid off without me having to confront her emotionally. Her attempts to twist the truth, to claim she had always loved me, or that her plans were harmless, were irrelevant now. Facts don't lie, and the document spoke louder than any excuse she could offer. Months later, I could finally think about moving forward. I changed the locks, installed security cameras, and started seeing a therapist to untangle the anxiety that had built up from living with someone who had meticulously plotted to exploit me. I even started dating again. Slowly, cautiously, but without fear. The document still existed on a backup drive somewhere, metadata untouched. Sometimes, late at night, I glance at it. Not out of bitterness, not out of curiosity. I just smiled quietly, because it was proof that meticulous planning, calm patience, and rational action can outmaneuver manipulation. And in the end, that was victory enough.